Get the motivation you need to overcome obstacles in the way and keep the drive alive as you work toward creating your dream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chris Blair Show.
Yo, this is Chris Blair. I'm coming to you live from my home here in Tokyo, Japan. For those of you who do not know me, I've been in Asia for a long time, even though I'm an American. I've lived over a decade in Japan. I lived in Taiwan. I've traveled so many times in China. It's unbelievable. I mean, I think it's been there almost 30 plus times. So maybe actually I spent 2 years of my life in China as well. So you can say I'm kind of an Asian nut. I love East Asia. I love living out here. It's a great experience. I've traveled the world. I've been to many countries. And before I tell you my story and you know why I'm giving you this show, let me tell you what the show is all about so you know exactly what you're going to get. This is a motivational show. That's it. That's all the Chris Blair Show is about. It's all about helping you reach your dreams, your goals, whatever that dream is. If your goal is to be a millionaire through your own business, if your goal is to climb the corporate ladder, if your goal is to, for example, I have a friend who loves to travel. He lives in Kyoto. He loves to go to Cambodia, and he builds schools down in Cambodia. So if you have some big dream like that, whatever your dream is, I want to help you achieve that dream. That's all I want. That's my goal. That's the only purpose of this show. Now, how I got to this point where I'm creating this show that's going to help you push through, help you have the right mindset, help you build belief in yourself. Because when you build your belief and you have the right mindset and you want it bad enough, you are unstoppable. Let me repeat that. You are unstoppable when you combine all those factors. How I got here is quite interesting. Over the past year, I have become quite famous in the internet marketing space. I'm an internet marketer. I make a full-time living online. I've spoken at many events, and I just teach marketing. I teach how to have Facebook advertising. I'm a Facebook advertising expert. That's my thing, right? And I naturally talk about motivational stuff. And people kept telling me, Chris, after your talk, I feel so pumped up. I feel so good. I believe that it's possible for me now. You really motivated me. And I heard this over and over again. And many people said to me, Chris, you're a natural born motivational speaker. You should be a motivational speaker. And after I heard this 100 million times, I finally realized, wait a minute, the universe is telling me something. The universe is telling me to do this show. So here I am. And I am so happy and excited about this. This is the new adventure in my life, right? Being a motivational speaker. I'm pumped up and I'm stoked and I cannot wait to deliver a lot of value to you and help thousands and thousands of people build their dream and reach their dream. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself and 3 different stories I think that'll really help you learn a lot about achieving dreams. The most important thing about achieving dreams is to reach a critical point within you where you tap into a power that makes you unwilling to relent, makes you unwilling to give up no matter what it takes. You are ready to push through and just crush it. That is a special power. And when you can tap into that power, you become unstoppable. Now, I have been a natural in able to tap into this power. I don't know why, and I've had many stories throughout my life, but I want to focus on 3 recent stories, okay? Or relatively recent, right? Since I became an adult. One of them was sometime in university, I just decided I really wanted to become fluent in Japanese. I mean, I studied a little bit of Japanese, but I really wanted to become fluent. I mean, we're not talking about like, you know, being able to go to a restaurant and order or go to the bar and chat with people. I'm talking about to a level where I could translate. I could actually do sales in Japanese. And I wanted it so bad. I was hungry for it. I just made a decision. I'm going to do this no matter what it takes. And I pushed through, and it was so difficult. It's hard for a foreigner to learn Japanese at a high level. You really have to want it badly. I mean, I studied every day. I endured people laughing at me because my Japanese was so bad at one point. And I watched hours and hours of Japanese TV. I went to tutors, and it was just, I mean, some people say, Chris, you're never going to be able to achieve this. You're never going to reach the level of Japanese that you want. But I didn't believe it. I didn't believe what they were going to say to me. I said to myself, I can do this. I can overcome, and I can endure. And at some point, by just pushing myself to keep going no matter what, put myself in an environment where I had to use Japanese, I just suddenly, at one point, it clicked for me. It's hard to explain, but I remember this point over a 6-month period of time where my Japanese went from being not so good to good. And then the next 6 months, it went from good to great. I mean, people were astonished. I mean, the people around me just could not believe this in that 1 year, how far my Japanese came. But the thing is, what they don't understand is all that previous effort built up over time. It was a compound effect. And the most important thing, it was a determination within me. I found the power to endure, despite the fact that people were laughing at me, despite the fact that it was difficult. I pushed through, I endured. This is the winner's quality. And how was I able to do it? Because I tapped into this deep, deep, deep desire within me that I would not let anything stop me. No matter what it took, I was gonna make it happen. Now this brings to another story. I was in Taiwan, and I just came back from Taiwan. I'm back in Japan. I'm looking for a job, and I have two opportunities. Okay, one was to work for a moving company doing sales, right? Trying to sell their moving services here in Japan, right? Another one was to work as a headhunter in Japan. Now, I don't know if you know about headhunting, but it's basically like being a real estate agent. Same setup. You're basically an independent business person within the company. It's 100% commission. You operate all your own expenses. You just use the company's brand, but you're basically your little solo entrepreneur within the company, okay? If you have staff, you got to pay for your staff, so you are basically an entrepreneur. I wanted that headhunting gig. I wanted it. I had made up my mind. I'm going for the headhunting gig. But I thought, you know what, maybe I should consult my father. And I love my father. He is a great guy. And everything in my life I owe to my father. So, my father is a great guy and I have a lot of respect for him. But he's also very conservative. And he values stability more above everything, okay? He convinced me. He talked me out of taking the headhunting job. He talked me into taking the safe, stable corporate job. I lost my nerve. So I took that corporate job, and from the day I showed up, I knew it was a mistake. In my heart of hearts, I knew I was not happy with this decision. And it's really funny what happened because of this. The universe came down and pointed me in the right direction. And here's what happened. So 4 months go by and I'm selling, things are going okay. There's no disaster in this job or whatever. I'm making sales. In fact, I'm head to head with for our sales with the other top sales guy who's been there for a long time, right? There were two top sales guys in the companies. After 4 months, I was already, basically head to head with them. We were even. We were also basically not getting along at all. Him and I were like oil and water. It's the only time I've ever worked with someone who I just could not get along with the guy. No matter what I did, I could not get along with him. Well, this culminated one day in a total blowout in the office. The most embarrassing moment of my entire life. I've never had this happen before that or even after that, right? But we were just, neck and neck in each other's face in the office, screaming at each other, okay? No punches were thrown in like that, but it was really, it could have come to that, right? And so we had to be pulled apart. And this was a point where, I went out to lunch afterwards and I came back and the boss said, I need to see you, Chris. And he said, yeah, we just had a little conversation with the management team and, we have a lot of respect for you. You're a hard worker. You've done great sales. But the reality is this guy's been with the company for many years. He's also been in the industry for 15 years. He knows more people. He's got more contacts. And the tension between you and him is just too much. And it's affecting the atmosphere of the office. So we've decided to let you go. And by the way, we want you to know that you've done a great job as a salesperson. So this is not hard feeling about you as a salesperson, but it's just not something we can have in this office. You in this situation with you and this guy. And you have no idea how good that felt. Even today I laugh about it, just thinking they felt bad about it, but I felt great. Literally, a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. I walked out of the office with a smile on my face. I went and had a coffee. And 1 hour later, I called up the owner of the headhunting operation, the manager, the president of the headhunting operation that I was wanting to join in the first place. His name's Axel. And I just told him the whole story. I pulled my heart out to him on the phone. I said, look, I wanted this. Here's what happened to my father. And I told him everything. I didn't hide. I didn't hold back. It was completely transparent. And he said to me, when would you like to start? And I said, well, how about tomorrow? And he said, well, actually, I'm traveling for business and I can't train you anyway. So why don't you come in on Monday? It was a Wednesday. So the following Monday, I went. And I got started. And the best part about this whole thing was this. because I regretted that decision so deeply. And partly because I wanted to prove to my father that I could do it. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can do it. I was once again able to tap into that deep determination that I had within me. I mean, I had made a decision and there was no turning back from this. There was no plan B at all, none. I was going to make it with this headhunting business no matter what it took. I would do any number of phone calls, any number of client meetings, work any number of hours. I was going to make it. And the first 6 months went okay. There was my training period. But then the next year, the following full calendar year, I became not the number one account executive in Japan, because this was a part of a big corporate organization, right? They had offices throughout the entire world. I became the number one account executive for revenue earned in all of Asia Pacific, the entire Asia Pacific region. Think about that, okay? Just an incredible reward, right? An incredible result, right? And that was because I was able to tap into this deep desire. I had made a decision that nothing was going to stand in my way. And that is so critical to massive success. You will never achieve the massive success you want until you reach a point that you have made a decision. There is no other option. This is the only option. Then you can reach that success because you have an incredible determination within you. It's a special power. Now, let me tell you the third story. This is about my current situation, okay? So at the end of 2008, Lehman shock came along, followed by the 2009 subprime crisis, okay? This greatly affected my headhunting business. The reason why it affected my headhunting business, I was responsible for recruiting human resource professionals for foreign capital companies like European and American companies here in Japan. I was helping them find Japanese human resource talent, okay? Well, I don't know if you know, but when the market's down, these companies only seek marketing and sales. That's it. They cut back office. They cut deeply too. I went from making 6 figures in 2008 to making 0, not a dime. In fact, I lost money because I was paying my own expenses for the business in 2009, like the previous years. So I actually lost money in 2009. I knew at that point that headhunting would come back in Tokyo. The market will come back, right? It'll stabilize. But I also knew that companies were looking towards China. They were looking towards Singapore. They were looking towards Southeast Asia, Vietnam. Companies were pulling out of Japan, right? So I knew that the golden ages of the 90s and the 2000s for headhunting in Japan, where people made crazy money, was over. And I turned out to be right. I mean, my friends who are still in that industry right now are doing okay, but they're not doing nearly what they did in the past. I knew that the golden era had ended, and it was time to move on. So I was looking for a business that was systemizable. I was looking for a business that was leverageable so I could have staff and infinitely scalable. I mean, I wanted a scalable business. And the only thing that I could see that I could do right now and get started was internet marketing. Now, I had to transfer myself from a salesman to a marketer, and I struggled. The first year online was a total nightmare. I bought trainings and tools and everything else under the sun, and I didn't know what to do, and I was trying to do everything, and I just did not know what I was doing, and I lost money online the first year. Lost money. So here I am, paying for an expensive lifestyle because I live in Tokyo, right? Which is an expensive city. I love the city. I cannot leave here. I just love it so much. Losing money 2 years in a row, right? So literally, I'd gone 2 years of losses and living in my business and also paying for my life. Let's just say that it was not a good financial situation at all right? But I was determined. I believed this was possible. I saw other people having success. And I said to myself, if they're doing it, I can do it. And this was the critical point, actually. My entire family and all my friends were encouraging me to go get a corporate sales job. They were saying to me, Chris, you've got a great sales background. Companies will hire you in a heartbeat. In fact, I was getting offers at that point. Some people knew I was struggling. They were coming saying, Chris, you're a great sales guy. We'll hire you right now. Just let me know when you're ready. This was, again, the critical point. My back was against the wall. I had to make this work. And I refused to give up on my dream. I knew that it was possible, but I had two things in mind. That's it. I knew it was possible, and I had a belief that I could do it. But I had the third most critical thing, and I didn't have that the first year. But I had it after a year of losses and really being in a financial total crisis. I actually went into debt, right? That was a critical point for me. Going into debt made me determined that I was going to make this work. I had to eat and breathe, sleep internet marketing. And then it started to happen. Year 2, I started making money. Didn't get rich, didn't set the world on fire, but I started making money year 2. Year 3 and year 4 have been incredible. And this is going up and up and up and up and up and up. And I am so ecstatic about my success online. But why was I able to do that? Well, again, I reached a point of crisis, a point where I wanted it so bad. I knew it. And I reached a point of decision. And I tapped in that decision that this was going to happen no matter what it took. That is a special power. You've got to find a way, a motivation, right? Now, some of you think to yourself, well, I'm not in a situation of crisis. Well, you don't always have to be. I mean, I wasn't in a situation of crisis when I learned Japanese, but for some reason, there was a why for me. I did something I wanted it. So if you don't have a situation of crisis, you got to create a why. Because if you create a big, massive why, like for example, I want to put my kids through university, or I want to create a massive lifestyle for my family, or I want to go to Cambodia and I want to help all, million children, improve their lives, right? If you create this external why that becomes internal, that why becomes internal, then you can reach the point where you can tap into that special power. Because that is the key to success. That is the key to massive success. Tapping in that special power. Now, if you got value out of this, I really appreciate if you go to the iTunes store, search The Chris Blair Show, subscribe to my channel, and leave a review. I really would love to get your reviews, because the more reviews I get and the more subscribers I get, it's a spiral effect. So please go and search on iTunes for The Chris Blair Show and leave a review and subscribe.